Hello everyone and welcome to Lucky Loaders 15, where I've given you my thoughts and feelings and tips for day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival, and we'll get straight into the action of things. It starts at 1:30 tomorrow with the Marsh chase, and this looks to be a stellar lineup. We've got the likes of Faugheen, Itchy Feet, Sam Crow, Melon, Mr. Fisher. This could be a good race, or it looks a good race anyway on paper, and it's quite hard to really narrow it down to a final selection, but I'm going to give you two selections here, and I would actually back both each way because I think both will make the frame and they can win it, and that's Itchy Feet and Faugheen. I'll make my case for Itchy Feet first. Itchy Feet, trained by Lee Murphy, looking for his first Cheltenham Festival winner. He landed his first Grade 1 winner with Itchy Feet at Sandown last time out, when he won the Grade 1 Scilly Isles Novices Chase at Sandown. That was the route taken by Defi Desoy on his way to win this race last year when it was formerly known as the JLT. He's got good course form. He finished to make the frame here in the Supreme last year. I think he finished second or third. I can't remember which way round he did, but he made the frame last year at Cheltenham, so the track should be no problem. And he was really impressive, I thought, at Sandown last time out, because if you actually watch the race and replay, he made a mistake at the last and he kind of nodded on landing, and his momentum to then go up the hill and beat Midnight Shadow, who is a good stayer at the trip, and bumped into Champ last time out in the Dipper. That was a really good effort, I thought, by Itchy Feet, and he's a backable price really for me. You can get him in some places about 7 or 2. I think that's a good each way bet. I can definitely see him making the frame, and he's going to be my first selection in the race. The other one is going to be Faugheen for Willie Mullins. I've been really impressed with him this season. Obviously, he's a legend of the game. He's a multiple Grade 1 winner. He's won over hurdles. Now he's proven himself as a Grade 1 chaser. And he won at the Dublin Racing Festival last time when he just held on. I think 2.5 miles is the right trip for him, and he's going to be prominent throughout the race. He'll be getting hopefully into a good rhythm. His jumping's really got better, I thought, from run to run. And even though there could be some classier types in this race compared to his race last time out, he still was able to destroy the likes of Sam Crow, who's been a bit well fancied in the last few hours before making this video for tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how he does run, but I think it's going to be between Faugheen and Itchy Feet, and I'd love to see a 12-year-old win a novice chase Grade 1 again. It's something you don't normally see looking at the trends. It's an unusual feat, but Faugheen, not many have tried it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he can do the business tomorrow. We then go to the Pertemps final hurdle, I should say, and yeah, I'm all over the favourite here, to be honest with you. I think the Storyteller is good value. He finished 6th at Leopardstown at Christmas in the same qualifier that decided the Burley in, and in fact finished in the same position last year, and it's often thrown up the winner of this race. I think it's been a good plan by Gordon Elliott going this way. He was a chaser, mixing it in graded company. Probably wasn't quite up to a proper Grade 1 horse in those races over in Ireland, but still was a good yardstick. And if you go back through his form, he is actually a Cheltenham Festival winner when he won the Brown Advisory Plate back in 2018. And I just think this has been the plan for him all season. He hasn't run since that appearance at Leopardstown, and for me, I've got to see him going very close tomorrow, and with Davy Russell aboard, I'm expecting a bold bid. The other one I will give a mention to, and will have a small bet on, is Kilbricken Storm for Colin Tizard. He's now back down to a really workable mark of 140. He's a previous Albert Bartlett winner. Sorry there. And yeah, he's a previous Albert Bartlett winner, and he likes to be ridden very prominently. He'll be up with the pace tomorrow, and I think he's got every chance of staying the trip, where some might not like that. And off a mark of 140, I'll be really disappointed if he didn't get involved. Reading Joe Tizard's blog, but I would sometimes read that with a pinch of salt, but it's interesting to say that the owners were keen to go for the stairs hurdle, and they decided to convince them to come here. So they think that this is probably the more winnable race, and he's a double figure prices at the moment at the current time of recording, and I think he's definitely worth a good each way bet because I can see him making the places. We then go to the Ryanair, and I'm just giving one selection here. I do like a Plutard. He is a really good horse, and I do like him. But I just have to side with Frodon, to be honest with you. He's one of my favourite horses in training, well, isn't he? Everybody's really. But he's trained by Paul Nicholls, and he's going to defend his crown again after winning last year with Bryony aboard. Bryony's one of my favourite jockeys, and there's no better sight, really, when she's on the front end of a horse, or on the front end of a race with a horse, and she's getting them into a good stride, and she really gets them to jump well at their fences. Frodon, his main asset is his jumping. That's what won him the race last year, and it well again. He can go over 3 miles. He was a Cotswold Chase winner at the track. He won some handicaps also as well last season, so Cheltenham is definitely his course. And I just think if he gets an easy lead, tomorrow, he could be hard to peg back. I know Min could maybe take him on, but I think Min had a hard race last time at the Dublin Racing Festival, and I bet really William Mullins is kicking themselves now that they didn't give him a crack at the Champion Chase, because he could have maybe won it, as Politlog was the eventual winner today after the way it cut up. But yeah, Frodon for me. He's had a bit of a hard season at the beginning. He had his excuses in the old run when that turned into a flat race, and he doesn't have the turn of foot compared with those who've got more speedier profiles. But if it's a jumping game, which it should be, he's got every chance really of doing the same again. After his Haydock run, he scoped dirty for ulcers, took him a while to get over. He went to Kempton, had a prep run. I was there that day, and he looked really well in himself, and he jumped well, and that was the perfect prep really. And I think, like I said, going back to Cheltenham, he's definitely a good thing tomorrow, and I would recommend an each way bet. He's around about 5-1, and that means if he doesn't win and he makes a frame, you will get your money back. Paisley Park will be the banker of the day tomorrow. There's nothing really to take him on. I would have liked to see maybe Benny Desure take him on, really, because I think that was the only horse that probably could have laid it down to him. But Paisley Park, his banker material, I'm not probably going to have a bet myself on him, but if I did have to maybe go against him, or look elsewhere to have a bet in the race, I should say, one that could maybe make the frame at a massive price, I thought West Approach was half interested in going back over hurdles. Now, I know he is fully exposed, but he actually met Paisley Park a couple of times last season and finished second to him. He finished second in the long walk hurdle at Ascot, and he finished second in the Cleve hurdle, and he's made the frame here over the hurdles course a few times in his career. I actually think he's got a massive chance tomorrow. He's 66-1 in some places. He was winning some races over fences at the beginning of the season, but last time out he went over hurdles. He ran an okay race at Haydock, probably a course that doesn't suit him. I think going to Cheltenham tomorrow, he's worth a small stakes bet really, to maybe make the first 3, first 4 if you can get the extra place. So yeah, West Approach would be my one against Paisley Park for the places, but obviously he doesn't have the form to beat Paisley. Paisley is the banker in my opinion tomorrow, and should be collecting his second Stairs Hurdle title. We then go to the Brown Advisory, and we've seen a bit of a gamble on this favourite, and I'm with it, to be honest with you. Simply the bets. Harry Whittington beat Imperial Laura last time out at Cheltenham, and the forms worked out well because obviously Imperial Laura won the Northern Trust Novices Handicap Chase, and the third place horse that day in his last run at Cheltenham was On the Slopes. He went on to win again at Kempton, so the form looks good. And actually, if you go back to his run at Kempton a couple of starts ago, that's really strong form as well behind Comanche Red, because you also had the third horse who was On the Slopes. They met last time at Kempton, and then the 4th place horse, Mr. Mago, he won again since. So it's a great form line really, and he was very impressive that day. Simply the bets. He's been laid out for the race, and I think he's going to be really hard to beat tomorrow. A couple of others I will mention and we'll put up in the description below. I will be having a bet on Spiritofthegames. I think this has probably been the plan all season for him, trained by Dan Skelton, and he finished 3rd in this race last year, and he's a really consistent horse and always deserves to land a big pot. I think he'll probably be making the places again, but he's 16-1 I've seen with some firms, off a mark of 149, and he's finished 2nd at both of his starts at Cheltenham in his last 2 outings. One of those was behind Sapage, who ran, I thought, quite a good race in the Ultima, but didn't get home on the first day of the festival this year. And yeah, Spiritofthegames I'll just give a mention to. And Highway 101 as well is another horse that I've got plenty of time for. Chris Gordon some of you will know that I've actually put up Chris Gordon's horses in the last couple of months, and we've had a couple of good results there. I spent some time with Chris, and I tried and persuade him really to run this horse in the Grand Annual. I don't think he wants 3 miles. Chris disagreed. Obviously, he knows more than me because he's a trainer. But over 2.5, I think he'll be a bit more effective over this trip. He's a horse that likes to go normally from the front and dictate a race, or he likes to be ridden very prominently. And he's got some good Cheltenham form. If you go back through it, he finished second here behind Kilbricken a couple of years ago, and also as well he actually finished third, I think it was, in the April meeting last year. So he's got some course form to his name. He's been a little bit disappointing on his last couple of starts. He's had excuses with the ground trip, etc. And he also nearly won, won at the Christmas meeting at Kempton. So he's been in good form up until his last couple of starts, but at 40 to 1 in places, I think he's worth a small each way bet. So I'm hoping he can maybe nick a place for my local trainer. We then go to the Mares Novice Hurdle, and I'm only going to give one selection here, and that's Minella Melody for Henry de Bromhead. Now, this horse has got a similar profile to Honeysuckle in the fact that it won the same race last time out at Fairy House, which was Mares Novice Grade 3 hurdle, and it was a good effort, I thought, by Minella Melody, and she really got away from them in the closing stages. She's got a bit of pace about her. She finished second in the Mares Bumper at Aintree last year, and I just think there's a lot to like about her. She does have to carry a £5 penalty for that success, but yeah, I think she's a classy type, and Henry de Bromhead's got a nice another nice mare in his hands, and she'll do for me tomorrow, so that'd be my only bet in that race. Then for the Muir, going to put up 2 selections. The first of them is Fitzhenry for Paul Nolan in the colours of JP McManus. This horse has been so unlucky this season. He's just bumped into a couple of horses that have been well handicapped or going places. He finished second in the Troy Town behind Chris's Dream. That was a really good effort. He then finished second in the Paddy Power Chase when Ryan Bell nearly, or I should say, he stopped him from winning, getting up in the closing stages, and he's been so unlucky. He's probably one of the best horses in training, I would say, when it comes to running his race more times than he doesn't. And I just think he's got a good chance in this race tomorrow, to be honest with you. He was unlucky last time when he was badly hampered in running. He was coming with a move to get involved in the race, and I think he bumped into a fouler, or it was quite a messy race if I remember rightly. And yeah, he was unlucky not to get a bit more involved that day. But Fitzhenry, if he can stay out of trouble tomorrow, he's got Paddy Mullins aboard. I think he's got a good chance at a double-figure price each way. So Fitzhenry for me there. And then the King's Writ would have been one of my other selections, but I decided to change my mind at the last minute with Plan of Attack for Henry de Bromhead. Finished third in that Paddy Power, and he's still unexposed really over staying trips. If you go back through his form, he won at Aintree at the October meeting, and I think there's a bit more to come from him, and he's off a mark of 140, which again, he has some scope to build on there. And he's got Brian O'Neill, who's no bad amateur at all. He's a very experienced amateur over in Ireland, got plenty of point-to-point winners, has had some big wins at some of the festivals over there, such as the Punchestown Festival and that. So no worries about the jockey booking tomorrow. And again, he's a double-figure price with some firms. And for me, yeah, those two will be my selections in the Muir. So that's my thoughts and feelings for day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival. Let us know what your bets are tomorrow in the comments box below. I always like to know what you guys are backing. Also, as well, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button for more videos here on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter as well, using my handle at LuckyLoaders15. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.